holds the heavens in his hands, who made the stars by the word of his power, who put the Spirit in man, and causes all the earth to cry out glory.
So quality is a measure of how good whatever that you do is, and everybody has his own or their own standards of quality, but there are those which are conventional, and we are going to talk about the accepted criteria for evaluating quality. I know that we have different ways of preparing our products. That is important, and it is so. But we can always follow a certain guideline to help us meet some specifications, minimum acceptable, not just by you or by people who subscribe to your religion, but by other people also. And that's what we are talking about. You have seen these questions. What is in the problem? You have seen the newspapers say this is a big apple lie. You have seen a lot of negative things about what we are advocating for, natural products and complementary forms of medicine. But the question comes, do we prompt people to think that we are not interested in quality or in anything that would be reproducible? Are we part of the people who want to prompt the world out there to think we want to hide, we don't want to come out clearly and say this is this? So as we go through this study today, I think we'll be able to understand how we can treat our products, or what is the recommended standard according to WHO, because WHO has given guidelines. They are the custodians of our health internationally. And if we have any stake in health, at least you can be sure that WHO is also looking at that. And that is why they are advocating for complementary and alternative medicines. People argue, which I agree, that we should not call them complementary. We should say conventional medicine is the complementary. Well, that is true because many people are actually using these forms of medicine. So which one should complement the other? Which one should complement the other? It should complement. But why is it not complementing? It is because this other one is not standardized. In China, they have their own. In somewhere in PC, they have their own. In Kikuyu-land, in Luo-land, everywhere, everybody has their own standards. So that is why WHO is trying to say, let us come up with something that can be acceptable in PC, in Ukambani, in Coast, in the US. There were minimum standards. We may not evaluate it based on the conventional criteria such, but we can have something that is standardized. So what is in the bottle is a big question here, because if you want today to go harvest a product, perhaps you don't follow any procedure. You walk to the forest, you carry your knife, isn't it? Then you go depacking. If it is a leaf you pick, of course they are, no, you are very careful with some procedures here and there. So this person here is trying to harvest. But what happens after this? We are not likely to have that, have again or plant again. They have come to the market, packed, those herbs are packed in plastic containers, What happens because they are in an open area where there is sunlight, there's exposure, and if that this plastic bag, there is heat. What happens when there is heat? There's some moisture. What happens with moisture, heat? What are you likely to see? The next day there is mold, and what are you giving people? You are poisoning people when you are telling them, yes, this is a drug. So, but we may not know that because of or either not being interested or sometimes not wanting to look at what is the recommended way of handling. So again, look at this. They are good containers, but you see somebody buying this herb, you may not buy the whole container. You are likely to get somebody scoop the herb or the powder with a kijiko and put it somewhere, isn't it? Yeah. And at the end of the day, in the process of scooping, what happens? Yeah? So, all that. So, what is really in the bottle? That as much as that outside contamination may be the problem, there is also the problem of, are you sure what you are claiming is there because of the way you have handled it? Because some of these herbs contain essential oils. Some of them have, constituents that are likely to disappear because of handling. Is it likely to do what you are claiming? So we are talking about quality, safety, efficacy, and standardization. All these are major aspects of quality, safety, efficacy. They are major aspects of quality. And when we say it's a medicine or anything that is likely to bring an effect to the body, then it doesn't matter what it is, whether conventional or complementary, it must meet quality standards for what you claim it to be. So I want us to give some clear definitions of what we are talking about. Herb or drugs. They are herbs, but they are also drugs, isn't it? Yeah? It is a drug because you are administering to somebody with the intention of doing what? Yeah? Treating, isn't it? So that is why they are called herbal drugs. They are plants or materials you have converted into phytopharmaceuticals. Don't get me wrong, I know you don't like that pharmaceuticals. But phyto here, we are talking about phytopharmaceuticals because what is bringing an effect here is the phytoconstituents. That's why we are calling it phytopharmaceuticals. So all these are called drugs, and they are herbal materials. They are materials that you process. I know when I look out there, I see powders, I see juices, I see, very many materials that have been treated in such a way that they are compatible or they can be, preserved for people to do what? To buy them or to have them or to use them even in many days to come. So, fresh pieces, gums, fixed essential oil dressings, and all these are herbal materials. So anything that you are prepared from herbs is herbal material. The preparation methods vary, but they are herbal materials anyway. So safety, when we talk about safety, we are looking at, is it safe for use or for human, either consumption or use, whether external, you may not consume. How safe is that material that you are giving to people? So, does it have any side effect? But again, safety is not just the absence of side effects. No, because you can take that herb right now. You may not see the side effect, but there could be long-term effect. Due to what? Yeah. Due to some either contamination. Again, you know the mercury we are taking, by the way, and it's so much in our sugar. Today the results were out, it's so much. For those who take sugar, I know you don't take. But it takes a long time actually to, manifest itself. And that is why when we are talking about cancers, by the way, it is a process. You know very well that some of the cancers that reveal themselves, and that is why most cancers come at the age of 40s, 50s, because these are things we have accumulated for a long time, after a long period. It is possible the medication you are giving is causing somebody a cancer because perhaps it has aflatoxins because of your processing, poor processing. So it doesn't mean if there are no side effects at that particular moment, then there is safety. The efficacy is the ability for your drug to do what you claim it does. Efficacy. You say it's an anti-malarial. Is it likely to do that? That is the aspect of efficacy. And in most cases for our natural drugs, we say these have been proved over time. Our forefathers used them, isn't it? Many people have used them over time. So it is an issue, it's not a big deal. But again, in science, we can do some pharmacological tests to see if you are saying it's anti-malarial. We can bring the plasmodium, put it somewhere, and then administer the way you are administering. If it kills that plasmodium, we say that is an anti-malarial. Minimum, it's not that much. So apple preparations, many we make, we extract again. Do we extract? Using water and some alcohol, not the other alcohol that people drink. There is methanol, yeah. So we extract because we are interested with a certain constituent. So we have tinctures and other forms that we call herbal preparations. And what is that brings the efficacy? It is the active ingredients. And this is what brings about the therapeutic activity. There is a clear distinction here that I want us to make. And let us not make a mistake and say that our products are foods. We have a difference between herbal products that are actually intended or are administered to treat, and a product that is administered as a food but with an intention to treat. So this is where the term nutraceuticals is applied. Yeah? And therefore, when we are talking about how we want to treat medicines, there should be a good variation here and a good distinction, because when regulation comes in, when a policy comes in, somebody is going to ask you if you are claiming it's a herbal product, then we need to see how it is processed. So you need to make a distinction between a nutraceutical, a food supplement, and a herbal product. That is very important. Otherwise, you'll be caught unaware, because sooner than later, you might be required to register your product. And that is why whatever I'm going to say here is very important, because the government is working to ensure that there is a regulation, there is integration. And if that regulation comes, you are not going to say, well, me, I am a medical missionary, my herb if you are administering to people, they will require that you have or you meet the standards. So you should ensure there is a difference. So what are we talking about standardization here? There are sets of characteristics that you are going to prescribe which will define the quality of your product. And they have to be uniform. It means that if you tell me that a spoon of your herb, for example, a spoon, isn't it? If I put it in maybe 10 ml of water, I am likely to get our bugano, which is about how many grams? Yeah, some milligrams of bugano. It doesn't matter if I do it in Kisumu or Nairobi or the United States. That is what we want to see in your product. That is what we call standardization. Because somebody in the US should be able to go and reproduce that if they use the procedure which you are using. That is why when you are telling someone, take a glass with a tablespoonful, then it means there is some substance in that tablespoonful. Okay? So standardization it means here when somebody is taking it in Kisumu, it should be the same thing somebody is taking wherever in Mombasa or in the UK. So whatever processing you have done, it could be acceptable if you give out that procedure, somebody will produce it. So there are parameters to standardization. There are parameters that defines that standardization, and some of those parameters is what we are going to look at. You know very well that people do not reject the use of natural products because they are not efficacious. Their only excuse is about what? Is quality. They're saying, where are those things processed? We don't know. Who is doing it? Everybody is doing their thing. That is the excuse. And that is the problem that we need to solve. So specific standards can be worked by experimentation. You can actually standardize your product. You don't need to bring it to me to do it for you. You can look at the procedures that you've been doing every other time and you see how you standardize it. And I think by the end of the lecture, you should be able to do that. So the profile of the constituents in the final product has implications in efficacy. It means that every stage here matters. Every stage here matters. Right from where you started picking this plant, if you have propagated it somewhere, even the propagation mechanism matters. The final product. You know, we have done studies here in the University where realizing when you say that foods are the safest, which is what we say, and foods are the safest, but the levels of heavy metals, those foods, they are overwhelming. That's what is killing people. In fact, people are dying of cancer, yet they have abstained from meat products and all that. What is the problem? The problem is, where were those products obtained from? Some of them are planted in sewerage, where dump sites. Where is the fish we are eating coming from? It is where they dump agrochemicals. So all these things are an implication in the eventual safety of the material. So there are several quality indices for standardization. How do we define this standardization? There are indices, and apart from the fact that you have either picked your material from the forest or from where you have cultivated it, which of course matters again, where you have cultivated it, the procedures, the handling, there, there is this material now you are bringing to the market. You are bringing a material to the market. So we want to find out if indeed the material you are bringing to the market is what you have said, that inside this bottle I have Onyambu, I have Blue Safuta, I have maybe Tagetes minuta in such and such quantities. What is the first step in quality assurance? We have to look at those things that we know, the seeable ones. How does your Onyambu look like, for example? Yeah, it is a herb, it is a ring, you know, the leaf is ellipsoid, you know, it is network vein, yeah. How does it appear? These are things that you have to know about your plant, which are good for authentication. If somebody asks you, what are you talking about? Which plant is that? You should not say, I only know it in Ekebus or in Kiluya. No, if you can describe it, somebody should be able to tell what you have actually described is there's things that we see. These are the first parameters that we look at. Yeah, first stage in quality assurance, and that is what helps us to find out between the authentic material and the adulterant. So you should be able to record those features that are seen or are seeable in your material. They are called macroscopic features. There are others we call organoleptic features. How does it smell? Does it have a smell? You can say yes, when you smell that plant, it has a pungent smell. Yeah, it is nice, you know, aromatic. It is flowery, you know. All these features are going to help someone who is going to identify, say, yes, that is, apart from the color, you say, apart from the shape, apart from the plant, either it's a tree or a herb, then I can also smell its pungent. What about the taste also? These are also organoleptic properties. The taste is bitter, yeah? It is sweet, it is sour. That is very important. These are the first features in quality control. You don't need a machine to do that. You only need yourself and your senses. Then you are able to tell this quality is good, this material is good, this material has not been adulterated, whether you are buying it from elsewhere or telling somebody to fetch for you. Then in the process, you are also sorting out if the leaves, if the roots, or maybe stem bark, you sort out, then you throw out what you call the foreign matter. That is a parameter also that is checked. Anything that is not the expected in your combination. There is also the ash value. When we take it, after you process it, there are procedures this product is taken through so that we establish if indeed it is only the material. In the ash value, you are looking at the real ash from this material, the ash from stones and silicate and all that, and also other, other materials. So ash value is important, is an important quality procedure, because for commercialized herbs, you must give the parameters for ash value. If you say 100 grams of my product has a hash value of 0.03 grams, that should be a standard that applies to that herb, of course. So there is a standard, and it is also done through research. There is also the moisture content. Every herbal product that is processed must have a parameter we call moisture content. This is, after drying, we don't dry maybe all the water sometimes. So we measure the amount of water during drying that is lost, and whatever that is likely to be retained. That's the moisture content, because in the event that we have exposed this herb and it has absorbed some water, then it is going to interfere. So if we take it for quality checks, then we realize it's more than you say, then it falls outside. It has failed. So these are the parameters that are likely to be checked. So you must take care of the moisture, and that is during drying. In fact, you must be able to be weighed from one stage to another to ensure that it attains a constant weight after drying, which you can say when a 10 kg of this material attains maybe 5 kilograms, then it is completely dry. That is how you measure, and you are ensuring that you don't confuse somebody and say, you don't look at it. Because when you are saying angalia, you might not be able to quantify. You can be weighed and say, oh, imefika 5 kg, ilikuwa 10 kg, it means at least it has dried. And in the event that we don't know, or we don't take into consideration some of these things, we are likely to get our herbs, they rot, or they have some mold, which will affect the quality. Extractive values are important also, because you are saying your herb has a therapeutic agent, a phytoconstituents. So, which medium is best when you are applying your herb? You can say take it with water, for example. So, if we are using water for a 10 gram herb, for a 10 gram bouquet, we are using how many mLs of water? Let's say 10. Yeah. So what is the constituents here? So these are what you call extractive values. Extractive values, you might use water, methanol, or those alcohol, anything that you are using. You might say honey, or anything you want to use as a medium. It has to be have some extractive value. Although honey is a preservative, but the medium we use to extract is mostly water. That is the conventional medium. There is a good fiber in case of woody materials. It is also measured. There is also the qualitative chemicals evaluation. This is why when we say other countries have done a good job in integration, it is because they have tried to look at the qualities, the quantities, the chemical quantities there. In fact, some of you are selling or maybe using Chinese products as a medicine. Do you know which processes they go through? These are some of the processes, because they have labeled very well that they have some chemical quantities that are here. So how do they go about it? And how can you identify your plant chemically? Do you know you can identify your plant chemically? After the characteristics fade, then we go to the chemical aspect. Because once you say it has, for example, prunacy, then we are going to see how does this prunacy behave somewhere, either in a TLC, a thin layer chromatography, a gas chromatography, a HPLC, or a GCAMS. So this is where we have properties. Don't get me wrong that I'm trying to tell you how a conventional drug is evaluated. Conventional drugs are evaluated in terms of a single chemical entity. But your drug, which is natural, cannot be evaluated like that. We look at so many of these chemicals because we say they are synergistics, isn't it? It is a conglomeration of chemicals working together to bring out what? An effect. So we can't evaluate it the same as we are evaluating a conventional drug, which is an isolation of one compound. Okay? So chemical evaluation here employs very different techniques to detect detect and isolate these constituents. And these techniques involve the use of equipment, some of which are very expensive, some of which are very expensive. For example, we have a chromatographic examination. In chromatography, we can either use a TLC, which is the simplest, thin layer chromatography. This is a medium which is likely to transport that constituents depending on the medium you are using as a solvent. If you are using water, then there is a medium that is compatible with that water. If you are using alcohol, there is a medium that is compatible. So you extract using water, and then you use a TLC to look at how many of these constituents are there. So you can make a TLC profile. And when you make a TLC profile, it can be used as a standardization measure for your product. You can as well use an HPLC, which you run, and that you are advised to run severally to ensure that you get that which you call a standard. But you know, you must develop a kind of a method that will help you do that, which has the parameters you use. This is the solvent, this is the quantity, this is the time, you know, and now the TLC, the amount of time you lay it there, and the solvent. There are so many things here that you have to go through. Toxicological studies, it happens because you want to evaluate the safety, the toxicity. We say that it can be good for use, but it can affect other cells also, isn't it? So you can run toxicological studies, much as some of these have been used for a while, which you can say our parents used it, or our fathers used it, to ensure we confirm toxicity. We run, or you run using animal models, for example, then you look at organs, how they are affected, like the liver, the kidney, the stomach, the linings. You look at them, you dissect that animal, you look at it and see if there is some effect, which you say that could either be toxic or not. So quality indices are parameters required to register the product with the regulatory bodies. And briefly, I think I will touch on intellectual property rights. We are not helping people by keeping to our products so that nobody knows what we have. Because I was saddened one time when a patient who failed, who had defeated, can I say, whose ailment had defeated conventional treatment. They said now the liver is grossly affected, so this patient, I think, that was liver cirrhosis. I don't think he will survive. So there was a say who came sometime somewhere from men and say, told the doctor, this I can treat, there is no problem. So they brought a certain, herb, they gave this guy. And within 3 or 4 days, there was this guy, the patient was actually, improving. The patient was improving. And cut the long story short is that the patient improved and they left the hospital, unlike what these doctors thought. But unfortunately, a year later, this herbalist died. But we could not tell exactly what they used. So who have you helped when you have administered a medicine that has actually killed or cured somebody, and then you die with it? Yeah? So we are not helping anybody. So if we want out some of these parameters, well, we can be sure that we are making products that can be reproduced later, not by another person, even by your families, because you are able to even register it and the quality of product. Yeah? That is why this product you are giving here from registered product, and if you do not have the capacity to develop it, but it is efficacious, then some industry can take it over, but they will pay you a royalty. That is intellectual property rights when you have shared your knowledge. And that knowledge is helping people somewhere. Many days when you are gone, because we are not beings, you will have the knowledge helping people. That is why when we talk about some antibiotics, we say somebody discovered. Why can't you be one of the people who discovered something and you are given people to use? So as much as we are keeping this knowledge to ourselves, it is not actually helping anybody by you keeping it. You don't have a son or daughter who is interested, you are a very good medical missionary, you have very nice herbal products that are working, then you are keeping it, and when you are not there, nobody knows what you are using. So that is a problem that we must deal with. Let's briefly look at good agricultural practices. Good agricultural practices are integral in quality control. Agriculture here means from the production stage, isn't it? So how you select the plant, the seed, the growth conditions, the fertilizer application, harvesting and drying is important. And you know, for natural product, we are discouraged from doing what? Using any fertilizer. So you have to make your own fertilizer from natural. You know how to make manure? Green manure and which one? Compost. You know how to do it? I think these are things that you need to continue educating each other on how to make so that you have products that can be said that is what they are. Processing, exposure to light, availability of water, nutrients, all these matter in the final product that you want to produce. So quality is not at the level that you have this product. Quality starts all the way from propagation, from the selection of the material, because you can choose a breed which is of low quality. And it is important to even seek advice from experts. We are Kenya Forestry. You can ask them, if I want to plant this herb, which has this consequence, because they know the consequence. How do I plant it? Where is the most suitable conditions? You can be advised, and it works out well. So, after the quality aspect of processing, and now you have harvested, you have this is harvesting now from the garden. Remember, the first important thing, after you have authenticated it in the through app, you must ensure you have cleaned. You clean. Don't say it was clean. Okay? Clean it. Ensure that it is clean. You rinse it. Ensure that it is well rinsed. It does not have water. And get some of these important structures like vans. These they have a wire mesh with those, I think, a gauge that is relatively small so that it cannot pour your herb, so you are dry. And it has to be spacious enough, because if you don't spread it, it is likely again to accumulate moss. And again, where you are drying it, ensure it is an open area with good ventilation, where you don't expose your herb to other things. Ensure also that it's free from rats and moths, those animals that can contaminate also in the process. And continuous sorting is very important. Continuous sorting to ensure you remove those that are affected with molds or where some insects are built. You sort out, you throw it out. And look at my hands here. What is in these hands? Remember, you are not clean. You have a lot of microorganisms. And everybody has these microorganisms, thousands and thousands of them. The moment you continue doing this dry, ensure that you limit even speaking, because your saliva has microorganisms also, and your hand should have use gloves. You should also have a good cover, like a lab coat. Your head should be covered additionally, and even special kind of shoes for stepping into that area where your process should be done. You know, now that is an industry. Yeah, that is where you are processing a drug. If you go to where they process conventional medicine, you don't even go there. It is an area where you remove all the clothes and you wear others you want, and you step in. It's very sterile place. So the drying is also monitored, because there is a way you can say your herb has been dried in the best way possible, depending on if it is sun dried or moisture dried, or even you might use another, let's say an oven. But the color also matters when you are using, for example, leaves and even stem bark. You must monitor the color. So if you look at these leaves, they don't appear so gray. In fact, they are still somehow gray, but they are all dried. The processing should meet the standards of the quality that you want. So don't say today, because there is it's cold, I have to dry it in the sunlight. Today, because it's cold, I have to take it somewhere in the oven. You must know how your plant is dried. There are those that are dried in the shade and those that are dried in the sun. The same thing with the stem bark or the roots. Then again, when you are milling, it's important also to consider the cleanliness and the safety of the area you're milling. I know that most of us use public mills, isn't it? Portion mills, where we take and they do it for us. That may not be the best practice. Of course, if you are producing in large scale, you need to buy your own mill, because it is not very costly actually. It's about 15,000 to 20,000 to 40. So depending on the quantities that you produce. And the area, as I said, it is an industry, so it should be neat. It should also be spacious, so that you don't, get involved in unnecessary accident. You are supposed to know the color of your powder. This is very important when you are recording macroscopic features, because on evaluation, when you are taking your product for registration, you will need to record these macroscopic features. How does a good quality process herb look like? It is either very green or maybe light green. Yeah, you must describe the color both for the root, stem bark, and even for the leaf. Then again, when it comes to packaging, there has to be a way you package your herbs so that you don't contaminate them. So that should also be taken care of, an area for packaging, the materials for packaging, the way you clean them, the way you dry them, because these herbs may stay here for maybe a year or so, and therefore you must be able to determine the period, the expiry period, which you record, because for any medicine, you must be able to record. So these are the parameters that we are looking at the lab. After you process the herb, after the macroscopic features have been recorded, there are those features that are now beyond your eyes. That's when we look for the microscope. Because if you have your herb, you bring it in the market, how will we know when somebody substitutes Bugia and Brunus? You can't say it's about it, so we cannot know. We must be able to tell this powder if the organoleptic features fail us. the macroscopic features have failed us, then we should be able to look at the microscopic features. And that is where it becomes important. For example, you may say, in my herb, you are likely to see a stomata. Which kind of stomata is this? It can be, there are different types of stomata we look at. There is a stomata we call anthrocytic. There are those we call parasitic. So we should be able to know which kind of stomata you have, so that when we look at the leaves, we can tell, yeah, this is a fragmented anthrocytic stomata. So you can see, you can actually trace your herb. Nobody is going to claim it is impossible. It is never impossible, because in quality control, there has to be identified parameters that we use. And if you process well, they can actually be identified. The others you can see, some of these are kind of oily material here, so you can see that. And then the kind of cells, the parasitic cells, they are thick cells here, so you can tell my cell, parasitic cells here are thick, with thick edges, and they have some spots, so you can describe well. You can describe some outcomes which you can look at from your microscope. There are also maybe this is a leaf that is described. You can see the margin, some spaces that you can tell. And if in the event that you are not able to tell by this, maybe the stomata or the oily glands or the parasite cells, you can find out by using some chemical agents. For example, this herb has what you call the starch granules. How do you test starch granules? You can use iodine. By use of iodine, you can see some dark, dark serrations here, which show that they are actually starch granules, and that is able to identify your herb. You are standardizing. You are ensuring that with good processing, you may see all these parameters. With the physical-chemical parameters and phytochemical parameters, there are some important phytoconstituents that you can run the phytochemistry to check. For example, in your herb, most herbs which treat malaria, for example, they have alkalis. Even cancer, they have alkalis. So which kind of alkalis do we look at? We can check for indole alkalis. Actually, the treatment for cancer with crystin and plastic, those are indole alkalis. There are isoquinoline alkalis, ergot alkalis, pinoliside, tropane alkalis. These can be determined using some chemical agents which are well known, and the procedures are well known. So when you drink your herb for quality checks, by using these chemicals and the procedures, you can be able to tell this herb has so many groups of alkalis, and perhaps that is why it's a good anti-cancer agent. That is very important for purposes of also registering your drug. There are glycosides also, and mostly the herbs we use, for example, when people are diarrhea, they have some glycosides, glycosides. There are some tannins and saponins as good anti-cancers, also cardiac glycosides for heart, the heart problem. You find these the phytoconstituents in different levels. So by checking using those chemicals, you can be able to tell if it has so many cardiac glycosides. Say it is the reason we use it for the heart. So many glycosides, it is the reason we use it as maybe an antidiarrheal agent. Then you check also these physicochemical properties, and with the correct production and processing procedures, standard parameters can be determined for each medicinal herb. There is no excuse why you cannot determine those parameters for your herb, because they are there and they have single procedures for the same. There are also some biological tests that needs to be done, especially for microbial tests. After going through all these stages, remember it is possible we could have contaminated them. There are accepted contamination limits, which are well outlined in WHO evaluation criteria. So there is a level of bacterial contamination that is acceptable because remember, in our bodies we have these bacteria, so if we have them at certain levels, they might not be harmful. So they need to be checked, and you need to say at the bacteria which is around 10 to the power of 15 colony forming units per mm, my plant is safe. So that anything above that, then it is declared unsafe. That is a quality parameter you have identified. So the methods of processing might add more contaminants, and therefore we must take care of the processing right from the drying stage to the packaging stage and all the other stages. So there are limits that affect. The chemical test I was talking about here, this is a TLC. This is a chemical profile of our Bougainvillea undulatensis leaf. This is a chemical profile of our Bougainvillea undulatensis stem bud. If you look at this chemical profile, there are actually about 20 chemical constituents that you can see in very high concentrations. So if I want to standardize this herb, and by the way, we have worked with parameters for standardization of Bougainvillea undulatensis. This is one of the profiles you can see. You can tell that there are about 20 or 24. What here? Phytoconstituents, yeah? And this is the leaf. The leaf has more, actually about 40 that can be seen. But again, apart from the profile which you can see, there are some measurements in terms of, centimeters that you can tell. Here is from here to here is how many centimeters. So that if you used a certain solvent which you must prescribe, for example, a methanol, and you run this for 15 minutes after spotting, it should be able to give you exactly this profile. This is what we call more like a fingerprint. How do we identify you if you have been involved in crime? It's by looking at your fingerprints. You know that? So that is the same you can do with a plant. You are trying to create a fingerprint that can identify your plant and profile those constituents which are therapeutic in nature. This is a HPLC profile for the same plant. And you can see in HPLC profile we use about 7 key constituents here. So that if you run that your book and you see these 7 key constituents, you say this is quality Bougainvillea that I've seen. Then there is a chromatographic fingerprint, which is actually you have used a machine that is a bit well developed, and therefore you have run a chromatographic profile using a GZMS, LCMS. In an LCMS, you can see so many constituents because it is more sensitive. It's actually more sensitive, and there are over 100 constituents. This profile is the fingerprint that we use in identifying our Bougainvillea undulatensis stem bud. If you claim you have as your Bougainvillea undulatensis and you bring it to my lab to test for quality, I will run it against this profile. And if it doesn't produce such a profile, I will say that is not a Bougainvillea, or that is not a quality Bougainvillea. By the way, I have profiles for all the Bougainvillea in the country, from the coastal region, the Nyanza, Kenya. So when you are looking for quality parameters, you run all those profiles. But this is a general profile that will tell you this is our Buga stem back, this is the leaf, this is our Buga leaf. It is a fingerprint that it can standardize the quality. There are other important considerations for quality that we need to look at. Taxonomic classification. You must know the tribal names of your plant. Ensure that you know Onyambu, how do we call it? In Kikuyu, how do we call it? In Kiluya, how do we call it? So that, because we are saying this is traditional medicine, so it should be able to be identified simply in the best way possible. So that if you don't know the scientific name, you can always put out to know by giving the tribal name. Ethnomedical uses, very important. How has it been used over time? And the results, ecology, where can it grow? This plant cannot grow in the coast, it can only grow in the highland areas. Distribution, where is it found? Propagation, how is it propagated? How do you plant it? Can you use the modern biotechnological methods to propagate it? Can you improve the quality by using modern propagation methods? So the management and any available research is very important when you want to determine quality consideration. So these are the aspects that you got to look at. What about procedure-based therapies? Procedure-based therapies are those others like acupuncture and municipation and those we do in the village. I remember grandmother telling me that if I have mumps, I can go to where there is a tree which you call and then throw it, and then when I come back, my mumps will be what? Will be healed. That is a procedure. And how do I evaluate the quality of this? It's a Kisi traditional medicine. How do I evaluate its quality? I must first of all look at if they are saying it is 18 rounds you have to make. What if you make 4? Are you going to be healed? What if you make 20? Is it going to heal? But remember, even placebo heals. In science, we talk about placebo. I can give you water, you believe I've given you atomicillin, you have malaria, then you have, okay. That is what we call mind intervention. By faith, you have believed, I took something, and you are, okay, and it works. Okay, so we really don't say that those procedures were based on superstition. There is something that was happening there. So you must look for a way of evaluating that. Some of them say when you are, I don't know whether those people who are like me, you are 8 years and you wet your bed. 8 years and you wet your bed. Is that a disease? It used to be called a disease because they will tell you now, go to that big tree, climb, and urinate downwards. So you will be sure that when you come back, you will never urinate in bed. Again, when you are trying to evaluate that, what are they trying to heal here? If you look at the procedure, before you even wet the bed, there has to be some imagination. So that by the time you imagine you are on top of a tree and you get shocked, you have woken up and walked to the washroom. And you see they healed you. They have made you actually wake up and go to the washroom. It is not superstition. It's only that there is an explanation that was lacking here to explain that therapy. They were very good therapy. So some of these, like traditional Chinese medicine, osteopathy, and all that, you use theories and concepts which you must use to evaluate them. They may not necessarily have a substance that you are evaluating. You must ask, for example, the old man who is advocating for this. What is the theory behind this? They will say we believe that when you go close to that tree, there is supposed to be some kind of, feeling, or maybe some kind of belief that made it possible so that these mumps disappear. Yeah? In other words, they are trying to give you an explanation which may make sense or not. So we use this theory. The same we are talking about traditional Chinese medicine, the theory of qi, when they are explaining acupuncture. And they tell you that qi is a substance that is not seen but can be felt. And anybody who has used acupuncture here? Anybody who has administered? Yes, do you feel the qi? When it comes, you as the administrator?
No.
The patient feels it. Yeah, but there is also a distending feeling that you also feel, the one who is administering this. The needle doesn't just stay the same when that qi is coming. It is what people worry a lot and say, how can a needle without a medicine effect some treatment? But for sure, that qi is felt. How they explain it, they have a belief. That is a substance that you cannot see. And that is why when one of the speakers was speaking, we say, we cannot judge traditional therapy based on what we know in conventional medicine. Yeah. Who said that this is a heart? Now you know the heart. It's because you grew up knowing in biology there is a heart, isn't it? It is because Western medicine described it. That is how it is. It has compartments, it has the left, the right ventricle, and all that. So when somebody is trying to describe their tradition, you cannot judge it based on what you know. That no, qi can never be there. That is false. It is because you don't understand the philosophy, the beliefs behind it. And that is why we are told that we must interrogate the theories. And because of knowledge, proper training is important for you to understand these forms of medicine. Use of good quality equipment is important if it's acupuncture, if it is non-separation, and if it is carving. The equipment that are recommended is important, and the knowledge of the accidents that may also occur is key. Efficacy here depends on the proficiency and the skills of the expert. In fact, if you visited a fake acupuncturist, you may not feel anything. If you visited an acupuncturist who is well trained, who knows where the acupoints are, the concepts of meridians and collaterals, the concepts of the elements and the diagnosis, you are likely to come out of that therapy a very, well healed person. Modern technology has been key for efficacy studies in some of these therapies. Clinical trials and other research methodologies are encouraged when we are following on these therapies. In fact, there are so many clinical trials that are being conducted for acupuncture, and some of them are yielding good results, especially for pain. Evaluation of theoretical framework and comparison with conventional framework is also important, because one has the logic. You might be able to understand the logic when you are looking at the theoretical framework and you are trying to compare. Other important consideration for complementary medicine practices, and this is also for sake of future generation. There is programs on hand therapies in academic institutions. This is for our information, because we cannot say, I am just a medical missionary. You know, in order to gain confidence and trust with people, we must also be, associated with some training, isn't it? Institutions and certification. People believe much as possible. One of the reasons why some of these people, believers in conventional medicine, trash the complementary practices is because of thinking that the people who practice them are not in any way well informed about them or what they are doing. So education programs, involvement with properly trained research in traditional medical practice, quality facilities. For example, we are right now, this university is pioneering in equipment that are going to test the quality of phytopharmaceuticals. It's a project that was conducted by actually is based on the work that I've just given you. And that is when a proposal was done by a professor who was my PhD supervisor. After we did this work, and then wrote up a proposal to National Research Fund, and they are now funding equipment that are going to be used to evaluate quality. What I'm telling you, we are doing in Kenyatta University. We can evaluate the quality of any Apple product. But again, let us be careful not to think that it is going to steal people's intellectual property rights. You are saying, if I took it to them, it's going to stop it. There is the issue of ethics, ethical issues in clinical trials and general practices. Are we having some level of ethics in our practices? That is very important. If we say we are doing clinical trials, are we following ethical standards so that these clinical trials can be acceptable? Education and training, proper training, it is recommended that we have it. I think I have already alluded to that. Continuous knowledge is important, like what we are doing now, the trainings, that is also key. I want to briefly touch on intellectual property rights. And I know every time I talk with traditional medical practitioners who have worked mostly in my researches, I realize that their fear is about stealing my knowledge. That you scientists, you come to us, we give you the knowledge, you disappear with it, and you get a lot of money. This is what I've been hearing in most cases. But how true is this? Yes, people steal knowledge. Some countries have stolen knowledge. You have now heard that China is stealing the rights from the inventions of the US. In fact, when you go to China, they copy everything. But that is not allowed. Ethically speaking, anybody who has a right to do an invention should be allowed to use it so that you buy from it. So these are the issues we are talking about. Intellectual property rights. If you have been able to discover that medicine, you know how to process it, how to harvest it, so that it becomes effective as an anti-cancer agent. That is your intellectual property right. You are the person who knows how do you mix these 3-4 herbs in order for them to be effective. That is your intellectual property right. And therefore, there are laws that protect you, to give you the exclusive right to enjoy the benefits of this invention so that you are not exploited. And if you must disclose to anybody, how do you share? There are laws also in this regard. And the main categories of interest to us, for example, are patents, trademarks, and protection of undisclosed information, which we have trade secrets. By the way, mostly I think we use trade secrets, isn't it? When you have a product, you don't expose. You say, for example, this is mfanya maajabu. When you say mfanya maajabu, it's a combination of what? Several constituents. You don't want to reveal it. Yeah? but you know the secret much as it is effective. That is a trade secret. It's acceptable. But if you wanted to come out clearly and ensure you have registered your product, you can protect that secret. You can give it a trademark, which is also recognized, protected. But you can also be given a patent, which is an exclusive right for you to enjoy the benefits of that invention. So the creativity of your mind is important because it is supposed to reward you. Enjoy the benefits as much as possible. Traditional plant medicine and IPR research, as you know, this is an area of concern. Drugs have been discovered, but they have been stolen. Many years ago in the Kalahari, there were guys, you know, in the Kalahari desert, those guys used to walk long distances without eating. And back in the USA, there are problems with obesity. I don't know if it's can testify. There's a lot of obesity problems. So the guys, as smart as scientists, went and asked these guys in Kalahari, how do you guys survive for long periods without eating? And the guy says, okay, there is a certain plant that we chew as we eat in the desert. So they actually took that plant when they learned about it, went back to the place and made a product. It is helping people because when they eat it, the substances there make somebody or suppress the urge to do what? To eat. And they are helping as an anti-obese. But that poor man in Kalahari never got any benefit. But the guy who invented that is really enjoying it. The same thing happens for India. It's also a certain product they did. But later on, if people discovered this and they lodged cases, these rights are denied. In fact, WIPO, or World Intellectual Property Rights, follow these cases, and they normally return the invention to the owner. They take back that invention which you are claiming is yours. And therefore, if we knew the laws that govern intellectual property correctly, we will not fear about somebody stealing our intellectual property or our innovations or our innovations. So this is an area that you really must look at and know that you can get your exclusive rights. In Kenya, the constitution has that, but there is also an international law that protects that. How long you can enjoy a patent? If you discover a drug today, it's about 20 years, given an exclusive right, after which you are supposed to reveal that right. There is a way you can apply for a patent in case you have a product that you feel you want to protect and so that it can be used. There are procedures in that regard here in Kenya. We have Kenya Industry. You can be advised on how to do that, and you can get better benefits than I do.
Who holds the heavens in his hands? Who made the stars by the word of his power? Who put the spirit in man and causes all the earth to cry out?